Start again. Good evening, everybody. I am the co-creator of the Mental Health Warriors, Kerry. Tonight I'm meant to be joined by Ashley, but she's not quite here yet. Adam is going to have to send his apologies. Our youngest is playing up a bit tonight. So we'll just have to give it a minute or two. I know I was muted. We've sorted it. Ashley's on the way, so we'll say hello. So our youngest is playing up a little bit, so I've had to jump on very quickly. Here she is.
I'm here, I swear.
Good evening. I was just saying, our youngest is messing about tonight and only wants daddy.
Oh, so you got to take his spot.
Yeah. So as the co-founder of the Mental Health Warriors, I'm jumping in tonight.
Sweet. This will be fun.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be a bit of a change being on the camera instead.
Right. I swear. Like this whole time difference, because I know like we moved forward and you and you guys didn't move yet, and then all that, and I'm like,
no, we've moved now.
But I was like, well, when we move forward, it always ends up being like 3:00. And he's like, no, it isn't. Well, that was what I was when I was there 2 weeks ago. It was 3:00. Now it's 2:00 my time. Like, what time is it?
I know, they just need to leave these bloody clocks alone, don't they?
Right? Oh, it's so confusing. Yeah. Anyway, I'm here. It's great. So, what's our topic tonight, Carrie?
Diversity in mental health. Let me get the correct title.
Okay. Sweet.
So it's Diverse Minds, Mental Health. So talking about diversity in mental health. So how mental health is dealt with, different genders, different cultures, different sexualities, how all those things can affect your mental health.
Awesome. Sweet.
Yeah.
Did he come up with a list of questions for you at least?
He hasn't given me any questions.
Okay, well,
he hasn't given me any questions or anything like that, so we're just going to have to wing it.
Well, this is going to be great. It's going to be stellar.
Well, I know I'm not as qualified in the mental health area as Adam, but I do have mental health level 3. I have studied about mental health in different cultures, just not as in depth as Adam.
Right. Well, but that's the thing too. Like the difference though is he's a man, you're a woman, right?
Exactly.
So how does the mental health space or like mental health challenges in general affect you differently than what it affects Adam? Or even when you look at your kids, like how does mental health affect your daughter differently than it affects your boys? Like
yeah, we can talk about that, and obviously I can also put forward my experience as a mother of kids with autism. So obviously for our viewers that were here for a long time, I once did a show, the Warrior Queen show, and I talked about mental health, being an SEN mother, and how it affects you on a day-to-day aspect. So I can talk about that and obviously bring that experience in. So obviously, as a mother with 2 kids with autism, one with ADHD, one with anxiety as well, it does massively affect you because people judge you and they say, "Oh, it's just lazy parenting." When they hear that your kids have got the title the label autism. You call you a lazy parent. They just say it's bad parenting because they don't have the experience of autism and don't know what it is or anything like that. And in wonders, Adam.
Substitute.
I'm finishing my chat. I started a topic about SEN. I mean, being an SEN mother affects mental health.
Well, it does.
It deserves to be talked about. Yeah.
You have the floor, girlfriend. Ignore him.
Yeah.
Would you want to take the show then?
No, you're going to join us.
I can't do the full show because you haven't given me the questions or anything.
Thank you, audience.
This is another thing how it affects mental health as a woman. He expects me to know everything just like that, and it's like, no, I'm not Superwoman. What? I'm not.
Nope.
But yeah, being an SEN parent does affect your mental health on a day-to-day basis, because being an SEN parent anyway, you're isolated from people because there's obviously lots of different challenges that you face that a parent with a child that's not neurodiverse won't have. I haven't done this in ages. So yeah, so obviously having kids with autism, there's different appointments. They obviously go to a completely different school than a child without SEN needs, and that comes with its own challenges. So both Lucas and Tegan get a taxi to school, and they're half an hour away. There's constantly appointments, phone calls, emails back and forwards between us and school, making sure they're all right, making sure they're settled in. And then we had the whole fiasco of Tegan wanting to come out of her old school and then go into a new school, and we had to fight for that. It's not as easy as, oh, well, did you want to go to that school anymore? She wants to go to this school, and they can just change it like that. It's a whole process to change it, and that process takes 6 bloody weeks.
Yeah. Well,
So,
it's
yeah.
just more so the school can make sure that they have the services that she needs. Is that why there is such a process compared to normal kids?
Yeah, so basically they have to make sure that the school that you've lined up as the new school can offer her the support that she needs.
Right.
There's obviously a whole assessment thing where they'll look at the paperwork from her old school, see what support she was getting there, whether they can match it or not. If they need to put any more support in place, they might need some extra funding from the council in order to meet it and everything like that. So there's a whole process of it. Hence why it takes 6 bloody weeks.
Right.
And Tegan ended up missing, I think it was about 8 weeks of education in amongst all this, because obviously the council dragged their feet and tried to basically challenge us and say, no, she needs to go back to her old school. That's not going to happen. Her anxiety is up. She's not going to go back to that school. She doesn't want to be there anymore. She needs a new environment. So obviously we had to fight for that.
Right.
And that causes anxiety for mum and dad, because we want to know that our child is in the best place possible for her in her education, because her education is obviously super important.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, of course, like that ends up, like you said, it's more stress for you and Adam, but it's also like, what other stressors does that trigger within you as well, because of your own history and your own background with mental health challenges? Like, where does that escalate you to beyond just the normal, like, okay, this is stressful, this is anxiety, this is all the things, but now is it becoming heightened for you because now they're not as accepting? So does that trigger like rejection almost in you, because when you reject my daughter, you're rejecting me, or, you know, vice versa kind of a thing, where it heightens all of the challenges that you face?
Yeah, it is that, because obviously when we I'm going to backtrack a little bit. When we first announced that the kids have autism, we had a few friends around us, and as soon as the autism label was dropped, that was it. Everyone just vanished. So we had to, as quickly as we could, build up a circle of parents with autistic children and ADHD children. And then it's a case of, because they're busy doing things for their children, facing the challenges that they have to face with their own children, you find it very, very isolating. So it's a very isolating place being an SEN parent. You're isolated. There's not many people to talk to. There's no parents groups around that you can go to speak to other parents. You virtually have to find these people on your own. There is no support network. Once your child is diagnosed with autism, people think there's loads of support. No, there isn't. You have to go out. You have to find these circles of friends yourself.
Mhm.
Basically, you're chucked in the ocean in the deep end, start swimming.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how it feels.
Yeah. Do you find that there is more of an openness on social media, or an easier way to find those connections and those supports on social media versus in person?
No, because a lot of people who have autistic children will not make it public knowledge, that they have a child with SEN needs, because there is still a lot of stigma around autism.
Right.
I mean, obviously, the older generation don't know anything about autism, so they think it's just bad parenting and anything like that. And there's all these judgmental comments that get thrown at you. It's kids having kids, you can't handle them, so you put a label on them. It's things like that. And we've had to quite quickly learn to put our backs up and realise that these people don't know about autism. They're uneducated about it. Obviously, I'm making it about autism because that's my own experience. But obviously, neurodiversities, there's a wide spectrum of them.
Mhm.
I'm not making it out that autism's the only one. Just my experience.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's become more diagnosed than what it was in the past versus, late diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
Where a lot of those adults that end up being diagnosed with autism, it's because they didn't have the testing back then or whatever.
Yeah.
So now it's becoming something that's more readily diagnosable versus in the past.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot more awareness of autism now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it definitely affects you. It definitely affects you as a parent. Your child having neurodiverse conditions does affect you as a parent. It affects your own mental health in many aspects. And it affects, obviously, your anxiety, your stress levels,
Right.
rejection from people, everything that's already been mentioned. All that's true and more.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it does affect my own mental health because obviously I've got my own issues, but I try and keep them separated as much as I can, physically can anyway.
Right.
Yeah. But obviously, being a dad of autism, that comes with its own challenges, doesn't it? Yeah.
Is he gonna join us, or is he gonna stay
Come on then.
stay in the shadows?
Come on.
What, you be on this as well?
Yeah. We'll
All right, okay. Right, hello.
See, look it went from 2 to 3.
Yeah,
You've got the questions.
I do. I do.
Now you disappeared. You vanished.
I'm here.
It's
I know
because
you
of the
are.
green screen.
Sort that out. Right, how are you?
Oh, it's been a stressful week, but it's fine. Everything is
Stressful week?
fine. Yes.
I know that feeling. Right, anyway. Since we're discussing about Diverse Minds, which is a trigger warning stream, have you
I
told
didn't say
people?
that. No, I didn't say that.
Have you told people to subscribe?
No.
See, this is why we had to bring you in.
I haven't done this for ages.
You could promote it.
I haven't done this for ages, so
Well, that's a you problem.
I
Anyway.
came flying in hot, Adam, clearly, okay? So give me a
It's
little
this time difference, isn't it? It's time
It's
difference.
time difference. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
So,
Anyway.
who are you? Do not. I'm going to ask everybody here. Who are you when no one is watching, and how does that differ from who you show the world? That's how I get Ashley speechless.
No,
when nobody's watching me, I like to just chill out and turn my mind off and watch something on television or something like that, just to switch off and think, right, the kids are asleep, I'm on my own, doors locked, screw you world, television on. I just lose myself in a program or a film.
yes.
All right,
I would concur with that, but at the same time, when I show up in places, I very much do my best to show up the same.
Okay.
Whether I'm in you know, a family setting or, you know, I mean, obviously there are situations where you can't just show up willy-nilly, like off the cuff, you're gonna, you know, blurt out everything that comes to mind, right? There are moments where you need to be more filtered and professional, if you will. But I try to very much still maintain that sameness as like, this is what you get, and if you don't like it, peace.
Exactly.
I don't care. You know, but again, there's moments where you need to be more professional and more filtered and polished than.
And that's what I've been like for the last couple of weeks, because I can admit, last couple of weeks, my mental health has been shit. It has, it's been shit. And then I've had people throwing comments at me, FYI, and I took them personally.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just like, hang on a minute. Why am I thinking about that? Why am I letting it impact me? I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've stopped caring.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think it depends on who's saying it. You know what I mean? Like, if it's somebody close to you, sometimes those comments can obviously impact you differently. Granted, yes, it's easier said than done to just be like, well, I don't care what you say, you know, whatever. But if it's a close family member, sometimes those comments are like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be somebody who's in my corner or like fighting for me, not against me, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So it can affect us a little bit differently than if it's just some Joe Schmo that you're never going to see in person, or you really, quite frankly, don't know from Adam. Like, you know, you see what I did there? Ha! Carrie's laughing. Come on. It was funny and you know it.
It was funny.
You try. I give you that. I give it.
She's showing up and being funny.
Right.
See, when I show up, because I've got 5 personalities, it's take your pick which one's going to show up.
It's all in the head, though, isn't it, Ashley? It's all in the head.
Hey, I'm not getting in the middle of you two. No way, Jose.
Anyhow,
He's
moving
got
on.
5 wives and
Moving
he deals
on.
with it.
Right. Okay. And this is one each. So I'm going to start with you, Ashley. All right.
Okay.
Have you ever felt like you had to be strong for others when you're falling apart inside?
All the time.
Even recently?
Yeah, I would say I had a moment like that this week.
Same.
Well, and I didn't even get to update you as far, like, you knew about the whole why I wasn't here last week because I had to take the dog to the vet, right?
You were skiving, but anyway, yeah.
Well, they got into another dog fight, and this time required emergency surgery. So it was not good, and I was like very holy adrenaline, like body shaking, all the things, very anxious. And as I'm driving to the vet, I could feel like the emotions were stewing. And like I literally wanted to just sob and lose it. But I had the kids with me, and I'm like, I can't let them see the emotion that I feel right now, because I also don't want them to then all of a sudden be like, you know, is she going to die? Like, what's going to happen? Like, what do we do, kind of a thing. So
yeah, I can't sit on this floor. I really can't.
What's wrong with sitting on the floor?
I can't get comfy.
He's old, Carrie. He can't. He's too old.
What are you doing?
I'm moving it somewhere.
The charger,
Watch me.
the
Watch
charger
me.
wire does not reach that far.
Oh, I bet it will.
Now you're
Oh, guys. This is
There
hilarious.
you go.
This is probably the most raw and real episode we have done in a very long time.
I agree.
Now you've messed my rug up.
It's all right.
No, it's not.
Right. Anyway, Kerry,
Go on. Yeah.
what's harder? Asking.
Yeah, I'm going to backtrack to the last question. Yeah, I've had a moment like that this week.
It wasn't even a question, but okay.
You said one each.
Yeah.
All right, go on then.
What's harder, asking for help? Asking for help or admitting you need it.
Admitting you need help.
Why?
when I was pregnant with Wyatt and everything was chaotic around her, and so everything was just falling apart around me. It got to the point where I wanted to end my life while I was pregnant, and reaching out for help was the easy part. But then when this put me through to the psychiatrist that ended up diagnosing me, admitting to her that I needed help was very, very hard. I mean, that was one of the things she kept asking me. Do you think you need help right now? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do. And she kept asking me, and it took her about 4 or 5 times asking me to say, yeah, I do need help. It was hard to admit that, yeah, I needed help. And then it went 1,000,001 questions. Well, it felt like 1,000,001 questions that chucked out a diagnosis. So.
Okay. You're going to throw me something, Ashley?
I'm going to ask you the same question. What's easier for you? Asking for help or admitting you need it? As a man.
You mean what's harder?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's both.
Why?
Because we've obviously been taught as men to be these dominant, masculine individuals and prevented from being vulnerable. And so we hide our emotions a lot. And when it comes to asking for help, like I've been branded it before, where when I ask for help, I've been branded weak. And that has a ripple effect. So like, even still with me today, and I don't know why. But admitting to myself that I needed help, it's a little bit, it's hard, but it shows that I'm genuinely cannot do this on my own anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Which was hard.
That actually goes back to what the topic is, but how mental health affects different genders. So obviously, you think that there's a lot of what? That's the title.
Diverse minds, yes.
Yes, that's the title. Diversity around mental health and everything like that. And one of those is how mental health affects different genders. So you as a man think that society has this idea that all men should be masculine, dominant, everything like that. When in reality, not all women think that. Some women, do offer that safe space for their partner or husband, whatever. But obviously not a lot of men see that.
But partners of men don't have that understanding, I say, until they've really communicated more and looked into it. And this is just my view anyway, where I believe partners don't understand each other as much as they're supposed to. If that makes sense. I don't believe they do.
It does make sense in a sense that not every couple has mental health training. Couples with mental health training will understand each other better than a couple who don't have any mental health training whatsoever. This is going off lived experience, basically. So, yeah, there is an argument around that. We're not going to get into that.
So, why do you think mental health is still misunderstood despite all the awareness today?
Because people don't understand it. There is a lot of people that just don't understand mental health and think that it's all in your head and you can just switch it off and just be okay.
Do you think ego plays a part in it?
I think so. I mean, it's obviously it's a mix of a lot of things. I haven't necessarily had I don't want to say I haven't had any experience, but I haven't necessarily had like a lot of family members that have necessarily been diagnosed, if you will, with anything specific to mental health. But I was a foster parent, so we had to do a lot of training on like trauma-informed care and like a lot of that like mental health kind of training stuff for kids, just because we knew that we would have kids in our homes that are on depression medication, are autistic, or, you know, anxiety meds or anything to that nature. So we had to be well versed in that grand scheme of things. We had to, you know, take appointments to psychiatrists and like all the things, right? So you're dealing in that world, whether you are dealing with it personally or not, like you're thrown into that. So like, I think there is a lot of misunderstanding and misconception when it comes to mental health, because of, it could be, again, ego of, well, we didn't have that back in my day. Well, you did, but you just didn't deal with it, right? Or it wasn't diagnosed, because yes, it was that thought process of it's all in your head, right? I mean, while that's true, it is all in your head because there's some miscommunication somewhere, right? But it's an unwillingness, I think, as well, to admit that something could be chemically wrong within the body, the brain, all of that, right? And I firmly believe like that there is a connection in some way for the gut health to the brain health, right? Because everything in the body is all intertwined. It's all connected. But again, like sometimes there needs to be some sort of artificial substance to get the body back on track into a state of like normalness, right? But is it really normal? You know, but I think there is a lot of like heads in the sand because nobody wants to address it. They don't want to talk about it. Like they just want to push it aside. And that's no different than when we look at, you know, as a coach who's doing a lot of identity work, when we're looking at connections and we're looking at past traumas and how that affects you, you know, in today's activities or today's decisions or whatever it is, we don't want to process through those emotions because they're heavy. We don't want to feel them. We've never been taught how to express emotion and how to properly process it and deal with it. So that's where that comes from. Like there's no training back here to be like, okay, this is how you handle it. So then when you've got 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, and, you know, even older, they're like, yeah, I can see where I lost myself along the way, or, you know, I was told like, just suck it up. You know, we're not going to deal with that. Just pull up your bootstraps and move on, kind of a thing. Right. Yeah. So it's in that generation of there's no education to it.
No.
And who's just gonna randomly pick up a book or watch YouTube videos or try to learn about something when you've been so generationally conditioned to think that it is all in your head?
Yeah. So that's when it comes to the question, do you think we're listening to understand, or are we just responding when someone opens up? Like reacting and responding. I think, and I've been taught this as well, where when it comes to someone opening up, if they're there to give advice or to talk over them, I don't think they're actually listening. I don't. But when they're reacting and responding, when someone's open up, I think we have to be careful how we respond and react to when someone's struggling and opening up, because that may be the only opportunity they do that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it's someone with mental health or whether it's someone with a neurodivergent condition.
That's why I often tell clients, like when I'm meeting with someone, whether it's honestly like in a client session or just like a coffee chat or a back and forth, there are a lot of times that I have pen and paper because I want to take notes, because I want to be able to like speak to the topic that they're bringing to me, or I want to be able to ask more questions based off of what they're telling me. So that can show them like I'm listening and I want to better understand like where are you feeling this, or like, you know, digging in a little bit more versus, oh, okay, like sure, you know, and it's very superficial and like a brush off, you know. So I will, a lot of times I'll be taking notes, and it's not that I'm ignoring the person. I'll just tell them like I'm writing some notes down so I have some reference points, or, you know, whatever, so they know like, okay, she wants to like understand, or she wants to hear what I'm saying to not forget, or, you know. And then that also gives you the ability, like if they tell you something heavy or whatever it is, like you can go back later and be like, hey, how's that situation going? Like, how are you doing? Where you can check back in with them. You know, Adam, you're really great at this. As far as like, how are you doing? You know, and just asking that simple question, because how often do we not get asked that question? Something so simple, you know, how are you doing? Like, are you okay? You know,
I always check in with people.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I've noticed, I think you're like me, Ashley, where ever since we got into the coaching or whatever, psychology qualification, whatever, we don't switch off, whether it's personal or professional. We're always in professional mode.
Yeah, I don't necessarily do it a lot with my husband and my kids.
Are you sure?
Well, I probably do it more so nonchalantly with my husband than just like a specific, you know. But it's getting his brain to think differently when he does tell me something, you know, because he's very. Sometimes I like to try to be more of the, like, you know, on Home Alone, where it's you be positive, I'll be realistic.
Yes.
My husband becomes very like, I'm going to be realistic, you be positive. So there's times that when he'll tell me something that I try to almost challenge his thinking a little bit, to think a different way, or to, you know, get wheels turning where he looks at it with a different perspective. It doesn't always work. Believe me, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Me and Adam are like you then. He's the positive one. I'm the realistic one.
I mean, there are times that I'm more on the realistic side, but I try to have a
no, he's never realistic. He's always positive.
Sometimes I'm a bit of both.
You're always positive.
Oh,
I think this
You wanted a raw conversation.
We're getting one. We're getting one.
So I mean, that's the thing. But like, even when I am in situations, even at church, for example, and a friend of mine we lead a Bible study on Monday nights, and some of the questions she asks, I very much will sometimes go into like coach mode, and I'm like, I can't shut it off. It doesn't just turn off. Like it just doesn't. So it's sometimes like, just shut your mouth, Ashley. Stop going into coach mode. But
yes,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I get it from Kerry and the kids. Is stop with the psychology crap.
Yeah,
it's fun though, Ashley. It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is almost daily where it's Adam, stop it doing the psychology stuff.
Nope,
we're not your patients.
You don't have to be. But it's not about patience or anything. It's about getting them to think, isn't it? Think outside the box.
Not when it's first thing in the morning and I've not had a coffee.
No, you gotta pick the right time to do it. You can't pick pre-caffeinated Carrie. Come on now, Adam.
Yes, I can. I can.
No, it's with him. It's first thing in the morning before I've had a coffee, and it's right now. It's you're not going to get the answer that you want. You're going to get a very sarcastic answer or a very you're an asshole answer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Kerry,
Uh-oh.
What is something you believe about yourself that might not actually be true?
I don't know.
Oh, there's an answer to this. I know there is.
I don't know.
That might be true.
No, that might. Yeah, it might not actually be true.
Okay,
Might not.
That's a ponderer.
One of my personalities thinks I'm a superwoman, but I'm definitely not. So
I love getting you two to think. This is fun.
Well, kind of piggybacking off of what Carrie said as far as superwoman, I think for me, it's the thought in my head that I have to handle everything. But in reality, I don't. Like, I don't have to handle everything. I can very much delegate things. I can very much set boundaries and say no to people. But part of me is like, I have to take that on and I have to take it all on now because why not? Like, oh, you've got an hour in your calendar. Let's fill it. Wait a minute. Why? Why do I need to do that? And I'm finding that a lot lately, especially on days like today, where I literally have like back to back to back to back to back meetings and things that I need to get done before I leave for out of town. And it's like, why? Why do I do this with myself? Like, I don't understand. Like, why do I have to do that? And it's more so like, I've got to cram. I got to get all done. I've got to, I've got to do all the things. But in reality, I don't.
Right.
yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. So at the moment, obviously, we're redecorating, and
The
it's
house.
yeah. We're not going to be redecorating the shed, are we?
Good.
I think people realise what I mean when I said we're redecorating. See, asshole.
Get off the shore.
No, when we're redecorating, and it's I want to do all these things, and then I want to obviously start on another room before we've finished the room that we're currently sorting out, and it's yeah.
Okay, so Ashley, forget the clients at the minute.
Okay.
Have you ever gone on the healing process, healing journey, but didn't love yourself?
I would say probably the very beginning stages of my healing journey.
Okay.
Because I think there was a lack of confidence. There was a lack of awareness to what was, in true honesty, like what was really there, like what was just waiting for me to take out, kind of a thing. But I think there had to be a quote unquote like peeling or a shedding process to that. And when you really start to identify some of the connections of why you behave the way you behave, sometimes there's an ugliness to it because you never really thought about, oh, well, that's why I react the way that I do, or that's why I behave the way that I do, or say the things that I do, because it's that connection to where did you get stuck in your growth process, if you will, as a child, as a teenager, all of those things. So there's like an ugliness in the shedding, I think, that you don't always necessarily love yourself in that process, but once you can shed those layers and peel them back, it gives you that then openness and receptiveness to like, I do love who I am and I do love who I'm becoming. You just have to go through that ugly transformation first before you can get to that point.
So piggyback back from that, do you think people grow more from love or from hardship?
I would say hardship.
Hardship.
Why?
Yeah, you'll learn more about yourself and and who is really around you. for support
Yeah.
when you're going through bad times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what has your pain taught you that comfort never could?
How strong I am. Simple answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's the resilience in it, it's the strength in it. But I think it also is, it really also shows like what you're made of, that you can go through the dark valleys and you can come out on the other side if you're willing to do the hard work and you're willing to go there to be able to transform on the other side. Because you can stay in victimhood and live in the lie essentially that like life is just out to get you, right? Or you can say, okay, how can I turn this dark scenario into something for good? How can I use it to share my story, to help somebody else? How can I use it to transform my life, to make it different, to, you know, all the things, right? How can I use it to serve others? Because I firmly believe when we take our eyes off of ourselves and our eyes off of the problems that we might be facing and we put them on other people, we realize that our problems or our scenarios and situations are probably this big compared to what they're going through.
Yeah.
So it gives you a different perspective of, man, I'm not going through something that bad, right? And it makes ours appear smaller compared to somebody else's.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you mentioned about support. What does genuine support actually look like to you?
Somebody who's there to offload to when you just want to rant sometimes. Somebody who's gonna listen to you and not judge you. Somebody who maybe might be able to offer some advice.
Somebody who's there to hold you accountable.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I'm good at that.
don't we know it?
I'm good at that. But the thing is, though, I believe to heal, we do need to take a little bit of accountability.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
Accountability, responsibility,
What?
all the things. Because it isn't, you know, some of the things that happen in our lives are solely because something we did, right?
Yeah.
And there is a responsibility that has to be had for that. But it's so easy to blame other people for our circumstances versus self-reflection, because again, we don't want to own what our part was in it because we'd rather just shift the blame, right? It's an avoidance is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So, how can we create a safer space for people to be honest about their mental health? Or maybe vulnerability as well.
You have to build the level of trust with somebody. There has to be that level of trust before somebody will open up. I mean, I find it easier to open up to strangers than people I know, because a stranger will not judge you. So I can go to a mental health group and they're all strangers. They know little bits about me, but they
Right.
don't know my full story. And I can open up in that group knowing that I'm not going to be judged by that by them. I find it less easier to open up to people around me all the time because I know that they could then throw that in my face.
Right. Because they're looking at you as the old version versus who you're changing into.
Yeah. And that's part of me what I'm believing at the minute is and obviously it's just my belief where obviously me and Kerry have had a bit of a spat in the last couple of days, and I believe what she wants is my old self to come back out, and because I'm not letting that, it's that change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not true.
I believe.
I don't want the old you. the old you was a bigger asshole than you are now.
Thank you. Will you stop laughing? Anyway, right.
She's enjoying me being on this show.
Of course she is.
I am.
Are we afraid of being judged by others or by ourselves?
Others. This goes back to why I don't like people, because people can be judgmental, and that's why I don't like people, because there's too many judgmental people in the world, and it's separating the judgmental people from the non-judgmental people that I find the problem.
Okay, so I want to piggy on that. The statement, I hate people, I don't like people. I thought that was an excuse to get out of things, but I know it's not. I know it's genuine. But is that us sticking in adversity, or is that us trying to heal?
That's me trying to protect myself, because last year I was volunteering and I loved it. I was enjoying it. But then then obviously some things happened and the whole group abandoned me. And that's when I learned that me being open and honest with people, letting people in, gets me hurt. And that's why now I've put my walls up and I don't let people in anymore, because I get hurt.
Any response, Ash?
There's obviously like a protection to that. But as much as some people drive me absolutely bananas, I've also had to learn that people are going to people. And they're going to let you down. They're going to disappoint you. They're not going to meet your expectations, because in the end, like, all of us, we all have our own stuff, right? We all carry our own baggage. We all carry our own crap.
Yeah.
So when we put expectations on other people, whether we make it known expectations or silent expectations, if we don't voice it, nobody can read your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an expectation of somebody, but you haven't told them, and then they let you down, then you get pissed and you close off. But wait a minute, you didn't let the expectation be known, so how can you blame that person for letting you down?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a responsibility in that. Like, if you told me what your expectation of me is, and I let you down knowing what your expectation is, well, then that's my fault. Like, then I'm a jackass, right?
Oh, what's Ashley's expectations?
Shut up, Adam. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, again, relationships are a song and a dance. And if people aren't willing and aren't okay with the fact that people are just going to let you down, like, that's just our human nature. My kids, they don't meet my expectations.
Nope.
Probably 75% of the time, because I have a high expectation of my children, but I also have to remember, like, I will make my expectation known. And guess what? If you don't meet some sort of, like, meet me in the middle somewhere, there's going to be consequence to that, because you're a child and you're living in my house. Yeah. But, like, if you're an adult and I expect high work ethic from you and you crap out and you're not meeting the expectation and you're not being a person of integrity and all of the things, well, then guess what? You're out. Like, because I can't have you representing my company in that manner. Like, and it might not be a right away thing. Like, you'll get a discussion and a conversation, but after so long, sorry, pal, you got to go. We can't keep having this conversation. So again, but it's also at times it's extending grace to people. It's giving a little bit of leash, but not too much, if you will. And yes, that sounds real terrible, but like in reality, you always say if you give your kids an inch, they'll take a mile, right?
Yes.
You got to keep them reined in. And it's much like ourselves, even. You know, if we know our tendencies and we know our habits and we give ourselves even just a little bit more than that inch and we give ourselves an inch and a half, we know that that's our failing point and we're going to let ourselves down. We're going to let others down, like whatever. So we try to keep ourselves within that inch, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just human behavior.
Okay. So if you could remove one stigma surrounding mental health forever, what would it be?
Man, these questions you're asking today are real tough on my brain.
Do you know
Carrie,
now I know how to get two clever women silenced.
Oh, stop
now I know.
it. Carrie, do you have anything that you can come off with at the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head.
Oh, geez, he's got us both silenced.
I think it's more. I think if one stigma that would be is that it's all in the head, because mental health doesn't just affect you in the head; it affects you physically as well. It affects everything about you. When you're going through a bad patch with your mental health, it doesn't just affect the way you think; it affects everything. So when I'm going through my bad days, it's I don't eat, I don't drink, I don't shower, I just don't give a shit about me personally. Mm-hmm. So everything will just go to shit. So yeah. So I think it'd be that.
Yeah.
That people think that it's all in the head. It's not. And I just want to address this comment.
What?
The fact that Adam's an arsehole, yeah, that is my favourite metaphor.
You're not coming back on the show.
Why? It's half mine.
I would say something along of the understanding and the communication about it, because it can be hard. Like with me and Kerry, when it comes to us being vulnerable, like for example me, I struggle. Even though the words are there, I can't get them out, and I really struggle. But with Kerry, she's a talker when it comes to her vulnerability. I'm more an action person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd rather show that I'm vulnerable rather than talk it.
Right. Now, like, the one thing that I'm thinking more of is letting go of the judgments.
Okay.
Because I would say before, you know, when you're in your early 20s and you're more ignorant, you think you know everything and, you know, all the things, right? I was probably more judgmental than anything. But the more you mature and you learn things and you have conversations with people, I think it's laying the judgments aside, because those that are struggling with mental health, they have enough judgments of their own.
Yes.
Like, they don't need to have somebody else add more on top of it.
And they're judging themselves as well.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we've got, you know, even when I was going through like my recovery process, and it was very difficult, like mentally for me after that trauma, going through that, having to ask for help, like something is off, something isn't right, like all the things, right? But it was like I had enough judgments that I was putting on myself of like, Ashley, you should have your shit together. Like, you've got kids you need to take care of, you know, and you're like playing these scenarios and these words and all the things over and over in your head versus like, it's okay. I'm not the only person that's ever gone through a difficult time emotionally, you know, psychologically, like dealing with that. I mean, in reality, undiagnosed PTSD or trauma or whatever. But like when you go through a near death experience, like so much shit plays on in your mind in recovery. Especially when you've got kids and then, you know, again, silent expectations that you put on other people and don't make known, and then they don't meet them, and then it turns into this huge like explosion. You know, so I think it's laying judgment aside is probably what I would say.
Okay. Ashley, pick a number 1 to 5.
Oh,
4.
What are you ready to let go of that no longer serves you?
Seriously?
I'm scared that you were going to ask me now.
Oh, great. So I did that question. Oh,
What are you ready to let go of?
you know, there sometimes becomes a part of you that you feel like you've let go a lot of the crap, but I feel like there's still probably like a worthiness factor or an enoughness factor. Like, am I worthy enough or am I good enough to do what I do? Like, there's probably something in the back of my head that, you know, tells me like, you're not qualified enough for this, you can't do this, you know, like all of that crap that probably plays in the back of your head, especially when you're going through like an emotional kind of valley. Sometimes it probably hits harder than when you're more so like, you know, ascending on the peak type of a deal. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Kara?
What?
Pick a number. You can't choose 4.
2.
This is going to be good.
Oh, God.
Are you treating yourself with the same compassion you give to others? No, she's not.
Easy. No.
Why?
Because I'm more harder on myself.
Why?
I'm harder on myself because I tell myself that I have to be strong because I'm a mother.
Ashley, what was that about labels in your workshop? That she's more than just a mother? I should forgot that already.
I'm sure she has.
I've got a lot in my head.
You're more than just a wife. You're more than just an aunt, a sister, and a mother. You're you.
Yeah.
See, I remember.
I know I'm more than all them. I'm me. But I'm still hard on myself because I'm a mum. And obviously I need to be strong for them.
But and please correct me if I'm wrong here. If you're not looking after yourself internally and externally, how can you look after the kids?
Give me that phone.
What?
Your turn.
She's avoiding it now, isn't she?
Your turn. Pick a number. Can't be 2 or 4.
1.
What is one thing you're taking away from tonight that you don't want to forget?
I don't want to forget it. Well, it's everything that I've already learned anyway. How that we can struggle with mental health and any other condition we've got, but it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. And there's always someone at the end of the phone, like takes less than 10 seconds to pick up a phone to someone. There you go. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. So on that note, we're going to end this. Obviously, we're not here next week, but we're here the week after.
And what's the topic in 2 weeks?
We haven't got one. So me and Aston need to discuss that because obviously Nick's back. And yeah.
Okay.
You won't need to click that, Kara. You won't need to.
I'm clicking it anyway.
No, seriously. Right, so please subscribe, everyone. Please share this, and we'll see you next week. Not next week.